So what did we discuss last? Do you remember? We learned how to create tables, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, sir.
And we learned to create table, and we discussed almost everything, around creating table. So we saw that create table is the command. Okay, so you give create table and then followed by table name. When you give table name, you can use underscore. Okay, just like in Python, the rules that we follow in Python for naming a variable, same or even a function, same way. Okay, same rule applies here. You cannot give space, and do not give space. In fact, there is a mechanism to give space. Okay, in SQL, in SQL. Okay, you can give space. Okay, using double quotation. Okay, so if you want to give space, so let's say you can use double quotation to give, but it is not recommended. Okay, like you say create table and you say here table 1 or something like that. Okay, but it is not recommended. Do not use space. It becomes problem when we run queries. Okay, so again, you can use name, text, and numbers underscore. That is recommended. Then uh, then you followed by simple bracket, correct? And within simple bracket, next is to give the column names. Okay, so every column name that you want to give has to be there. Okay, let's say you know, let's take an example from here itself, right? So if you want to create, let's take employees. I think employee is a bigger table, right? So let's say these are the columns: EMP ID, F name, L name, DOB, email, phone, DOJ, date of joining, salary, department ID, right? So these are the columns that you want in your table. So you need to add these things. Okay, so and then followed by their variable name. So these two are mandatory, right? So you say table name, create table, table name, simple bracket open and close, and within simple bracket open and close, you give all your column names, right? So I say col1 space data type 1, comma, col1 2, comma, data type 1, comma, col3 dot data type 2, comma, col4 space data type, let's say 4, right? So I have column names and the data type. Okay, this is the basic syntax. This is mandatory. Now apart from that, you can add constraints, right? So we have seen constraints can be primary key, foreign key, your unique, not null, check. What was the other thing? Default, right? So you can do that. And see, constraints, you can write it here itself. If the constraint is based on one column, you can write it here, or you can write it at the end. After you're done with naming all the columns, you can define here also, like primary key, primary space key, okay? Foreign primary key. And then in the bracket, you can say column 1. That means column 1 I'm making as primary key, or you can mention here. So both options are valid. If it is a single column, it's better that you do it here itself than having an extra step. But let's say if your constraint is based on two columns, like for example, your yesterday we created unique key for L name and date of birth, DOB, correct? So you can say here column 1 bracket comma column 2. Now in this case, I'm saying primary key is based on column 1 and column 2. Okay, so now column 1 and column 2 together is treated as primary key. Column 1 and 2 together is treated as primary key. Okay, so yeah, you can do it constraints. You can do it in the same line with the column name, and you can do it and different line, in as a primary key, and then you can give you. Yesterday, I think we did some constraint in the same line, some constraint outside, right? Yeah. Okay. Then we have foreign key. How is foreign key created? We use word references, correct? References, which table and which column in that table, right? And then we saw that the data type of foreign key should be same as the data type of that column in other table, and that column in other table should also be a primary key. Okay. Now let's say you have some data. Okay, you've been using this table for many months. Okay, and you have got a lot of data in the table. Now I need to make some changes in the table. I want to change the data type. I want to drop. I want to add an extra column, right? So now today for next 15 minutes or so, we'll talk about modifying a table. That means table is already created. Table is already, okay, this is not Python. Modifying a table is already created and in use. Now you want to add or delete or modify a column. Okay, so add means you want to add a new column, or you want to drop a column. You want to delete. Okay, delete and drop. Okay, there are the two ways. Drop means you want to move something for permanently, and delete is to delete a row. So here when I say delete, it actually means drop. Okay, I have to, you can, if you talk about the structure, the objects, we discussed about database objects, right? And table is it called database object. So when you talk from database object perspective, it is drop, not delete. Okay, drop means, so you drop a table, right? You want to remove a table, we saw, right, earlier, we can drop a table. So delete, okay, in database structure format, or database definition, DDL language. DML we say delete. In DDL, database definition language, we say drop. Okay, so remember that. Delete is used when we manipulate the data. Data is there, we are manipulating it, DML. Okay, data manipulation language is delete. DDL, data definition language, is delete. Sorry, drop. Okay, so in the existing table, we want to add a new column, or we want to delete a column, or drop a column, or modify a column. That means, let's say it has varchar 55 and you want to increase it to varchar 75. If it is varchar, you want to convert into integer. But remember, your table is already in use. That column will already have some value. So if that column has a text value, then you can't change it to integer. But if you column, okay, so some things are possible, some things are not possible. Your table has a varchar 50, okay, and you want to reduce it to 25. But if already there's one value with 35 or 40 number of values, then you can't do it. Your alter will fail, or your modify is alter. Okay, so your modify will fail. Okay, so you can't modify. So you can, it's like when you modify some existing data, your existing data should not be disturbed. That's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. The existing, if you're modifying it, the existing data should not be disturbed. If the existing data is not matching to your objective, okay, your alter will fail. Okay, so if modify a column will fail. Okay, so if, like, if your varchar, if you have varchar 50, you can change it to 60. Obviously, if your varchar is 50, no data in that row, in that column, will have more than 50 values, isn't it? So you can easily do that. But reverse depends upon your data, right? 60 to 50 will depend upon your data, because if data has 55 length, then you can't reduce it to 50. Okay, so these are the three operations I want to perform on table once table is already in use, right? So okay, so to modify a table, okay, we use what is called as alter table command. Alter table. So modifying an object, DDL, okay, is alter command, right? So I said, right, DDL command to delete is drop. DDL command to modify is alter. Alter is the command to modify. Okay. So I'm going to alter existing table and let's add a new column. Okay. Uh, we can drop a column. Okay. And we'll modify a column. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So adding is easy, right? What do? You say alter. Okay. You use table name. Which table you want to do? We'll say employees do dot employees, right? Employees is the schema. In MySQL, schema and database are same, right? Employees dot employees, alter employees, correct? Spelling is correct?
I think the table had uppercase E.
No, doesn't matter. Okay, in
Okay.
SQL doesn't matter. Okay, only when you give values within quotation, that's where you have to be careful about, because quotation is like your varchar or text that will be saved as it is. The value within a table is case sensitive, but the commands, the names, it is case insensitive. Doesn't matter whether you give small or capital or you give mix, doesn't matter. So
Okay.
alter employees dot employees. Okay, then I want to add, right? So I will say add. Add what? Add a new column. Okay. So email, phone, we have it. Which column can we add? Salary also we have it. Let's say bonus. Okay. Now I say bonus. Now bonus, what would be the data type of bonus? Let's say we say here as float.
Float.
Okay. Bonus will be in percentage. Okay. So, so let's say you say 20% of your salary is bonus, for example. So we'll use bonus as float. So you say float, and then what do we say in float? Okay. We will say float. What did we do yesterday? Remember? No, don't remember.
Oh, we gave the number.
Points, decimals.
Okay. So float, we have to define number of decimal places also, right?
Yes.
So how do you define number of decimal places? How do we give? I want to give 3 decimal places. Okay. So like, for example, if you say 12.5%, right? And if you convert 12.5% into float, it will be 0.125, correct? So you can say here float 3,
Yes.
Yes.
right? So this is how you are, you can add a, a new column to a table without having any impact on the data present in the table. Okay. So alter is to make the changes to table without having any impact on the table. So when I run it here, okay, oops, error. Alter employees, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. Okay, let's see what's the error here. You have an error in SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to SQL version of right employee. EMP LOYEES and EMP LOYEES. Why it's giving the underscore here? Or okay, there's another way. I will say use this. Okay. I will say here use employees. Let's see if this works. Okay, this worked. Now I'll say, then when I say use employees, right? Then by default, everything that follows will be in employee schema. error SQL alter employees oh sorry uh, alter table no or altering the table alter table employees add bonus yeah see I wrote here alter table you guys did tell me okay so now we added bonus so if you go and refresh this okay you see bonus column is added here right now this is to add a new column now if you want to drop a column okay so let's add one dummy column and then we will try to delete the dummy column I think all these columns are important so let's add another dummy column so control C control V add dummy okay so you add dummy here okay so green that means it has run successfully you can refresh and see here okay dummy and then I'll say here alter table okay employees okay employees then what do we do what command should I put to remove dummy
Drop.
drop drop dummy okay drop column okay again you have to say drop column dummy okay now you run it green tick means it has run successfully you go and refresh it see your dummy is gone
Sir, can multiple columns in the same table have same name?
no no you cannot okay you cannot have same name irrespective of the data type you cannot have same name okay now you want to modify the data type let's say we want to modify this dummy to float 4 let's say want to increase the float size to 4 okay so then again what should I say alter table name okay then
Alter.
no modify
Oh,
okay so modifying column is modify okay modify what column okay modify column which column bonus right bonus to what data type float
No.
4 okay now before running let's see the type okay let's see the value of this bonus or okay what we'll do is we'll say send to SQL editor this is name select or employees let's employees create table to SQL editor okay now you see create table here bonus is float okay and it has not been given the this thing right the data type here okay so you have to be careful because my cursor was here it actually added from here okay now you can select and run it so blue tick okay you can modify the column so if you modify the column as I said only if it is possible if the data in it makes it possible only you can modify other you cannot modify okay sometimes people have to create a new column okay add modify the data and move data from one column and then delete it okay um because because you can't edit existing data so you are trying to create a new column but if you create a new column okay then what happens if you column if you create a new column, what is the and let's say you have a column here and you're not able to modify the data type. So you create a new column and you put the data, you make all those changes, using command, you move to the new column and you delete the old column. What is the risk of doing that?
The data might be changed. Like,
Data will not be changed, right? Because data you changed it, so you changed it on purpose, right? You manually did it, so you want to change it. Okay, it is because you'll have programs which is connecting to a particular column, but if you change the column, okay, if you change the column, then what happens? The program will be looking for column 1, but you have deleted column 1. So the program will fail. The applications connecting to the database will fail, isn't it? So in that case, what you can do is you can say you have column 2, you created column 2, move data from column 1 to column 2, delete column 1, and then rename column 2 to column 1. Then rename it back to column 1 so that your applications which are connecting will not fail, will be able to connect to column 1 now. Okay. So that is also a part of your alter table. Okay. And then the alter table name, let's say we'll use employees. Okay, the employees. Now what do you want to do? You want to rename it, correct? Okay, or you want to rename it. Rename what? Column. Which column you want to rename? Let's say bonus. 2, okay, 2 is also part of your text. So rename bonus to what? Let's say bonus underscore percentage I give. So that we know, okay, we need to underscore bonus in percentage form. Bonus underscore percentage, right? Now let's run it. Is it wrong? Let's run it and see. Did I make mistake? No, right? I don't know why it's showing red, but you see that it got created correctly. You see here, alter command is green tick. Now you go and refresh the table or the columns. Your bonus is now changed to bonus PCT. So this is how you can even rename a column. Make sense? So what we saw today is how to modify the structure of an existing table. Okay, because your table is already in use, it has a lot of data, you cannot drop and recreate again, right? Now, if you have to do same thing today, I mean, we have an empty table, right? We have not added any values to it. I could have simply dropped and created new, right? But then it is already in use, it has a lot of data, I cannot do that. I can't drop. If you drop, all the data will be gone, right? So I can alter the table. In altering the table, we have seen how to add, drop, modify, rename, and existing column, right?